This Arc Hunter build will surprise you. Your main source of DPS is your melee, and you can use this build in Grandmasters. With this build, you'll be running around endgame content, punching your way through everyone, all while being invisible almost 100% of the time. You'll be using Combination Blow to defeat enemies, and after each powered melee kill, you'll go invisible and heal yourself. You'll be boxing the darkness like your Logan Paul. So let's take a look at this build, how it's put together, and what makes it so powerful in endgame content. If you enjoyed today's build, consider subscribing. But without any more delay, let's take a look to see what makes this build work. The exotic I'm using for this build is the Assassin's Cowl, which will keep you alive and make you invisible after every powered melee kill, which will almost be every single kill. You can also use Liar's Handshake combined with a 1-2 punch shotgun for even more melee damage, but I prefer to use the Cowl just for survivability. For the subclass, we're obviously going to be running Arc, and the super is completely up to you. For the dodge, you're going to want Gambler's Dodge so you can recharge your melee after using it to kill an enemy. Melee is Combination Blow, which allows us to stack such high melee damage to kill higher health enemies. The idea of this build is very simple. Kill an enemy with Combination Blow, which recharges your dodge and makes you invisible. Dodge near an enemy to recharge Combination Blow, and then repeat. So now let's take a look at some of the aspects we'll be using to make this build even more powerful. Lethal Current. After dodging, your next melee attack has increased lunge range, jolts the target, and creates a damaging aftershock. Damaging any jolted target also blinds them. This fits perfectly into our gameplay loop of melee dodge melee, which will give us some ad clear capabilities and using the jolt and blind debuffs. Flow State. Defeating a jolted target makes you amplified. While amplified, your dodge recharges more quickly, and you're more resilient while dodging. Gives faster reload speed as well. This pairs perfectly with Lethal Current, keeping your dodge charged and available as much as possible, and gives you damage resistance while dodging near enemies when you go to recharge your melee. It'll be like you're playing Dark Souls 3 all over again. And for our fragments, we're going to be using Spark of Feedback. Taking melee damage increases your outgoing melee damage. Perfect, since we'll be up close and personal. Spark of Resistance. While surrounded by combatants, you're more resistant to incoming damage. Again, helps keep you alive while you're running around the enemies. Spark of Recharge. While critically wounded, your melee and grenade energy recharges more quickly. If your health does get low, you'll be able to melee your way back out of it. And if you're using Assassin's Cowl, regenerate your health more quickly. Spark of Shock. Arc grenades jolt targets. This is just a spare slot. It can be swapped out if you have a personal preference towards another fragment. Now, this is already a pretty powerful build, but we can make it stronger with just a few mods. For our first mod, we are running Well of Ions. Picking up an Arc Elemental Well causes your next melee to deal increased damage. This will give us a 30% increase to our melee damage after you pick up an Elemental Well. Melee Well Maker. Create wells on our powered melee kills. Bountiful Wells, so we can create 2 wells per melee kill. Well of Striking, stacked twice. Picking up an Arc Elemental Well grants you additional melee energy. Stacking this will give us an insane amount of melee energy each time we pick up an Arc Well, just in case you do miss your dodge. You can also put on Invigoration, which will give you melee energy each time you pick up an Orb of Light. Again, just in case you miss that dodge, you can get your melee back more quickly. Weapon choice is totally up to you. This build pairs very well with a 1-2 punch shotgun. However, it is a very ability-based build, so your weapons are personal preference. Try out this build for yourself and tell me what you think or anything you'd change. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider liking or hit that subscribe button so you don't miss another Destiny news video or build video, especially when Lightfall drops. I'll see you next time.